Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. So I just want to run you guys through some of the details about MT4, how to use the platform, how to optimize ARYA while you are using MetaTrader 4, and then also run through a few of the different aspects of ARYA and how it is that you can use these to really optimize your trading experience. So the first thing that we're going to look at here is this being the MetaTrader platform. So you can see up here we've got everything from file through to help, but most importantly we have Market Watch. Now what Market Watch does is this highlights all of the assets that are available for you to trade from your broker. So naturally, your broker will offer a series of different assets, whether it be from commodities to FX through to indices. These will all be different as per your broker, and you can obviously select those on Market Watch. So you right click and you can click Show All to go through some of the different pairs available. Now you will notice that as you start to use MetaTrader slightly more frequently, that your favorite and most commonly traded pairs or assets, whatever they are, will appear at the top. So that it's more of a easy access, because obviously you're likely to be wanting to trade them again. So with the Market Watch, that's then how we get to see some of the assets, and what we can do is right click and we click on chart window, which will bring through a new window of your chosen asset. Now when you look at the chart, it doesn't really look very easy to read. So what we will begin to do is start to apply a template to it. So this will just help us in order to understand exactly what's going on here. So personally, my favorite ARYA template 1, but naturally you can look through all of the different templates so that they can highlight the aspects that you want to look at. So for me personally, like I said, this is my favorite. I prefer the candlesticks, obviously with green candlesticks indicating a price increase and red indicating a price decrease. And we also have a nice moving average here in red as that line, just to show you whether it's trading above or below that moving average. So that's then the kind of first template, and it's also worth noting that you can add templates, you can remove templates, you can save different ones. Now when you are looking at the templates, you can actually go on to certain indicators so that you can add on, whether it be trend, oscillation. Obviously custom holds a whole host of different aspects where you can trade and alter the graph to show exactly what it is that you want. So these are definitely worth having a look at. Not sure if you guys have a particular strategy, but again, have a look in here and then you can save that to the template that you prefer. So we'll stick with this for now. So we have our graph, we then have the template, and it's on the right asset class. Now the next thing that we need to be aware of is the time frame. So you have everything from the monthly, which is where one candlestick indicates 1 month worth of data. So I mean, if we take, let's say, the one prior to this, and obviously you have a time counter here, it's huge because naturally that's 204 hours, 45 minutes and 0 seconds, obviously now changed. So this is 1 month worth of data. And if you then go right the way through, we'll stop off at 4 hours, for example. One candlestick represents 4 hours worth of data. You know, the highs and the lows and kind of the open and the close, as you can see there, given that it's a red candle, close is lower than the open. But then right down to the 1 minute, and this is where you can see no hours, no minutes, just seconds, because naturally it's only 1 minute candle. So different strategies will complement these in a very different way. Those swing traders and more of the long-term investors will probably look at the monthly trends, but then the scalpers will want to be keeping an eye on the 1 and the 5 minute graphs so that they can understand how to get in quickly, but then also most importantly, get out very quickly too. So that's how we have a look at the time frames. Now, as you're doing these time frames, you apply your strategy and you begin to execute some trades. So where do we look at the trades? So one thing that you guys will all want to know is your account history. And you can see this is highlighting whether it's a buy trade or a sell trade. Obviously it's blue or red, and you can see your profit. I had a losing trade here, So minus 151, but I had a winning trade here, which was 514. So you can begin to see, where did I go wrong? What time did I go wrong? What asset was I trading? And this helps you to really look back on your trading experience and see where it was that you went right, where did you go wrong, what were you trading? And if you notice any patterns, then you can begin to analyze, well, okay, I know that I'm not necessarily good at trading in the morning, or I shouldn't trade gold around certain news. So you begin to come up with a plan yourself there. And you'll also see a whole load of your current trades if you have any open, which I currently don't, but I can execute one soon and we can add that in. But you'll see those in your trade tab here. So then we'll move into, like I said, some of the indicators when we do want to start adding things onto the line. Like I said, you might already have your template and you don't necessarily need it, but you can add in these indicators here. Obviously lines if you want to go through and, let's say, don't know, put a trend in. You identify that from here right up to here, there's a bit of a trend. There you go. So it's kind of going up, obviously going down, increasing, correction, increase, correction. So then you can begin to adapt this as to however it is that you want to analyze the market. Now, once you've done that, you then might want to think, okay, well, if it is that I have a trade in, what's the spread? And the spread, you might hear this term being thrown around quite a lot. What the spread is essentially the broker's fee for actually giving you access to the financial markets. So naturally, when it is that you put a specific order in, you will have an order in the market, but you'll also have the broker. He will take his slice to make sure that obviously he's getting paid for facilitating you being in the market. Now, with this, you'll see that the market price here, now let's say we have a short on the currency pair GBP USD. So we might say, well, look, when the price goes down to, don't know, 1,23040, I want to take my profit. So if you have a little indicator here, you know, you're in the market, it starts falling down, you think this is great news. Once it gets to this, the yellow line will be down here, but you won't have taken your profit, which is really, really important that you take note. What you'll actually have is you need to wait for the red line to go and actually hit this indicator or the level to which you desired. So the market will have to drop slightly lower than where you wanted to take profit because of the broker's margin. Now, obviously, the broker's margin will change for different assets. It'll change in between different brokers, but you want that to be as low as possible so that when the market gets towards the price, you're taking your profit. And you don't have to wait for the price to move any further in order for you to secure your trade. So that's something that's very, very important to keep in mind. Now, when it is that you're getting access to the financial markets, you think, okay, well, I've got access to the financial markets. I've got my broker, they've paid, you know, I'm paying the fee, I'm happy with that. I've got my chart set up, but when can I trade? So one thing that you guys all need to know for the trading hours is that weekends, Saturday and Sunday, and public holidays, they are not trading hours. So we cannot trade during those periods of time. So, but it is 24 hours a day because of the different time zones that different people are in. You know that you have the Asian session, you have the American session, you have European session. And so these naturally run within the 24-hour clock 5 days a week. So you can trade any time you want, apart from the weekends and also the public holidays. Now, when it comes to actually using ARYA, and you're in the right time, you've got your chart, you've got your broker, and everything's looking pretty good, you want to then execute a trade. But you need to do that while you're secured. So when you come to do that, you think, okay, well, I have ARYA Essential, ARYA Pro, and also ARYA Trade Manager. Which one is best? Which one do I use in different circumstances? And where do I go from here? So the first thing that you need to take into account is that those of you who have a specific strategy where you just have a defined stop loss, you have a defined take profit, you might even have 2 or 3 defined take profits. But if it's just the price and it's just the numbers, you want to use the trade manager. And I'll show you why. So naturally, you need to adjust your risk per trade, 0.125 up to 2%. And then, as always, your max loss daily is limited to 2%. So we then look at when you do want to execute a trade. Let's say I did think that there would be, I don't know, this was going to increase. We've got the cable increasing. And then we have stop loss based, let's say, I don't know, below this level here. So we put our stop loss number in, and that again can be obviously anything for any different asset that you're trading or depending on your strategy. So you put your stop loss in, and then you might have your first take profit. And if we're going long on the market, we'll put it as this FPV, which is 1.23. There we go, 291. So the weight, what this indicates is how much of your profit. So if you're risking 0.5% of your account, how much of your profit do you want to take at that first take profit? Do you want 50%? Do you want to take just 10% to have something small in the bank, but you think it's going to go further, so you have more weight towards the other take profits? And again, like I said, if we are going long and we think it's going to go much further, let's say 1.2340, then we might put a 60% weight. So we now know that we have 10% plus 60%, 70%. So this final take profit will be 30%, and we could have that at our final desired. And it could just be that we say, well, once it gets to this level, it might be unlikely, but we know that if it does get to there, we still need to be in the market, and we'd be very excited if we were. So that's where you're using, and also you can put in your break even, I should mention there. So that could just be just under your take profit. Up to yourself. And again, you can save, you can load these templates depending on what it is that your strategy indicates, how it is that you prefer to trade. So again, see, I can save that there and then preload it when I come back. So we'll say okay, and I'll just quickly show you the actual trade manager itself. So we make sure that the smiley is smiling and everything's good in the top right hand corner. And then on ARYA, we make sure that the trend direction, obviously that's indicating upwards, which would have been good. And then we enter into the market. So this again, entry, stop loss, take profit 1, take profit 2, and 3. So this way you can begin to see how the trade manager will be very, very useful. Then if you are looking to plan and you want something slightly, let's say, I'll get rid of this. Let me close off this order, which I'll do for you live so that you guys can get a full understanding. We close the order by right-clicking, and yes, we've taken a small hit, but that gives you an idea. And now we'll just come and we will close off the trade manager by right-clicking, expert advisor, remove. So that's if you're just trading by price. So naturally, very, very useful. You've done maybe a technical and you've realized there's a breakout coming, and you also then see that there's probably going to be a support or a resistance, and you want to just work on the price aspect. So you drag and drop that trade manager in. Now, if you're looking to plan, so those of you guys, this is really, really popular for obviously the expert traders who want to plan maybe multiple trades, but also, and arguably most importantly, for the average retail trader. So these are the guys who don't necessarily have all day to sit in front of the screen, the people like you and I, who will make sure that we plan our trades in advance. So we can do that by 2 ways, ARYA Pro and ARYA Essential. Now we'll go through a demo of these in a second and go into a bit more detail as to exactly how you plan and things like this. But firstly, we will look at the Essential. Now, the way you launch it, you either double click, or equally, you can just drag and drop. and it brings it through. Now, the Essential is very much like ARYA Pro, but you will see that there are fewer parameters on here, so fewer things that you can control, just to make it that little bit easier for yourself while you're trading. So it doesn't allow as much planning and kind of pre-coordination, but gives you exactly the same control and flexibility over your stop loss type. Again, max loss daily, limited at 2%. If you go any more than 2%, go home, come back. Your trading's over for the day. But yeah, allowing you to risk adjust your risk per trade, max profit daily, consecutive wins and losses, and again, profit factor, that being your risk to reward ratio. But then we also have the trend filter, moving average period. So your moving average, do you want it to be, how long? And also we have the level filter. We'll go into that into a little bit more detail afterwards, but then also clock filter and the start time, end time display. So this is really for, setting yourself up, and you just want to go through some of the essential aspects. But if you do want to go a little bit deeper, and we want to delve into some of the more parameters that make this a little bit more sophisticated and tailored to our strategy, then we will go through some of the following. So you can see this ARYA Pro, step 1, 2, 3, and right through up until step 4. You can already begin to see some of the more parameters where it gives you that extra level of control. Now, naturally, when you're setting this up and when you're really just exploring ARYA, which obviously you need to do on a demo account to make sure you get to grips and have the best chance of moving forward when you're investing, your own real money, we will look at some of the different aspects here. So I won't go through them all, but I'll give you a highlight of some of the best ones. Now, the position mode, firstly, it's just buy, sell. Visual mode is where we have 2 buttons, one green for buy, one red for sell. But naturally, if you're just planning to buy or sell, you can choose that there. Entry logic time frame. This will allow you to enter the trade on a different time frame. So it could be that I'm looking at the 5-minute graph, but I actually want to enter on the 1 minute because I see an opportunity coming up. Or I could be looking at the 1 hour graph, but I want to enter on the 5-minute or the 15-minute or even the month. So I can indicate that here so that the trade is entered on a different time frame to which I'm looking at. And an entry pip buffer. If I want to get into the market, there will be a buffer and it will say, well, I want to get in at this price. Make sure that my entry is, let's say, 5 pips away from that particular market price, just so I can confirm that the trend is moving in my direction. Now, with the entry type, the next customizable aspect that you can see here is market execution, straight in the market, or a limit order where you enter at a specific price, which obviously you can highlight here. But when we choose automatic, what ARYA does, and this is where it gets really exciting with the slight automation and the algorithm-based trading, is to make sure that ARYA is looking at all the data points, it's looking at the averages, and it's doing so many calculations in the background that it optimizes the entry point for you. So where you say, I want to enter the market in a buy or a sell position, ARYA is calculating exactly where the best place is for you. Because we know that as traders, we don't have time to, once we see a specific entry point, to go and do the risk to reward ratio or calculate the lot size. And by the time we've done all of those laborious calculations, it's already too late and we've missed the boat. So this allows us to make sure we're really taking advantage of every opportunity. So again, risk per trade, very similar to what you've seen before, 0.125 through to 2%. And again, max loss daily, 2% max. Then you look at your maximum profit daily. Do you want that to be a percentage of up to 5% per day? Or you could have none. When we move down to max loss weekly, we can begin to see that this is for everyone who's preparing ourselves. Now we know that the maximum loss throughout a day is 2%. But you might think, well, I know that I have bad weeks, or the market goes through a turbulent time. And if it does so happen and I'm having a bad week, I don't want to make sure that I want to make sure that I'm not losing more than 5%, because that's all I'm prepared or willing to lose. So you can highlight that here really as that safety net to make sure that you're not overextending yourself. And again, looking at consecutive wins or consecutive losses will be able to help you manage that risk too. So step 3 is all about the trade management. So you look at what stop loss type you have. And again, you guys may or may not be familiar. Fixed, it's a specific stop loss. It's fixed. Volatility is a stop loss calculated on the volatility of the day that you're trading. So it looks at today's and also yesterday's data, and then makes sure that it's calculating an appropriate stop loss for you. Day high and low, the high or the low of the day, U based on the lowest point or the highest point, and price is a specific price to which you want your stop loss based. And all of those can be customed here. So your profit factors, your risk to reward ratio. We then have our trailing mode. So that is if we do have a specific stop loss and we want our stop loss to trail and follow us, it can follow us by a series of different ways. Now that might be fractals. Based upon the fractals that we've had previously, it will trail and it will follow once those fractals are confirmed. So the stop loss is moving along with our profits in the direction that the market's going. So that's great for making sure you're banking all of that profit as the market is moving in your favor, not just having a fixed stop loss waiting for the market to come back against you. But that can be done with a break-even point, a certain number of pips that it will follow the market price, or even a combination of the fractals and break-even, or the break-even and the pips and moving averages. Now there's all of this data. I know that this is an awful lot to take in, don't you worry, but everything is in the handbook, so we definitely recommend that you have a look through that, really understand exactly what all of these aspects do. And like I said, you're going to be having a play around with this, and you're going to be using a demo account to make sure that you're safe and protected. So all of those aspects are here, but one nice little caveat I want to put onto there is with the trailing mode. Let's say we have fractals. When do we want that trailing mode to follow us? Is it immediately? Do we want the stop loss to keep moving? Or is it that we want our stop loss to start following and banking our profits when we're 50% towards our take profit? Or do we want it to only do it at the last moment when we're 90 towards that take profit and then we start following? Or it could be at 10%. So that's completely customizable and obviously something that you can take control of and advantage of to make sure you're banking all of your profit. Now, when we move into step 4, you're familiar with a few of these. The level filter, we saw that in Essential. And also with the clock filter, we saw that also in Essential. So what the level filter and what the clock filter will do, firstly, the level. Now, like I said, this is going to be absolutely crucial for those of you who are, in fact, the busy guys or girls, you going out, you have jobs, you have commitments that you need to do, and you're not able to sit in front of the screen all day, every day. But you've done your analysis, you recognize that there is an opportunity, and you think that once we break a certain price or within a certain price zone, we want a trade to be taken for us, even if we're not at the computer. And that's the beauty of this. So we might say in the morning on Monday, oh, well, yesterday I identified that there might be a movement of my currency pair or my commodity. And if it goes within this price range, it's definitely going to go the way I want it to. So I'll enter that price range into my level filter, the high and the low. Obviously the high price being the higher price and the low being the lower price. Now, when the price moves within there, ARYA is going to be, like I said, optimized to make sure that it's taking the trade for you in your desired direction and you're not even at your computer or on your phone or on your tablet, obviously all of which you have access to ARYA through. And when we move into the clock filter, it could be that you say, I want that to be the case, and I want ARYA to optimize my entry, find the right trades for me, and activate whenever it is that a certain level is hit. But I know that I'm coming back to my phone, or I'm going to be using my account again at lunchtime. So I only want ARYA to find a trade for me in between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. This is where ARYA is automating all part of your trading experience to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. But again, for that to be activated, the clock filter has to be set to true. Now, you'll see here market close, weekend. These aspects are just, do you want ARYA to be trading over the weekend? Do you want all of your trades to close off at market close? So you have that control to, if you're a swing trader or you're someone who does hold trades over the close of the market, over the weekend, you obviously have that ability here to be able to adapt this exactly to your strategy. Now, I know that there's so much here, there's so much customization, and some of this is going to be crucial to your strategy, but you don't have to use everything. Now, once you do set up your parameters and you think, okay, I know I want my activation take profit here, I want my stop loss as this, I'm going to save this. So you can come back in the next day. Let's just take Forex 1, for example. I've loaded up one that I have previously. Then I am good to go. I'll go in at market execution just so we have the ability to actually see the trade entering. ARYA is going to load through, got my smiley up here. I'm happy with where the market is going. And so I've come in, you open MT4, 1, 2, you load ARYA, 3, you enter the trade. And that will just immediately, through ARYA, be able to have us entering into that trade. Now I've got a live trade here, and we're already in the market. Very, very simple. 1, 2, 3. Now, quite often, what we will have is you can have ARYA at, like I said earlier, automatic. Now, I'll go on to a different commodity for you. We'll take a quick look at oil. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up ARYA Pro, so you will just be able to see, again, standard. So let's say if it's going to go upwards, I click buy. Now, once I've clicked buy, you can see this double arrow means that the trade is going to be processed. So it's a pending trade. So this is actually waiting, like I said with ARYA, once we see that the fractals and everything has been confirmed through the sophisticated background algorithm, once the market gets back to here, then we're good to get into the market. But ARYA is not just going to jump in, it's optimizing your position for you. So you're then looking to close off a trade, and you can see, like I said previously, we just closed that trade off there, and we just got ourselves, $3 there. But look, with signals, quite often, while you guys are using signals, it could be that you just get a signal coming through, and it could be a template of ARYA Pro. You just come into here, you put in all of the aspects that have been changed. It could be that you just have a buy order of a certain commodity or FX pair, and you come in with your stop loss. But that all will come through from your app, which, if you don't already have it, ARYA Signals app on the Play Store, on the App Store, and that's going to allow you to get free signals from expert traders who are going to get you off to the best start. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you don't miss out on any other great content. But we look forward to seeing all the results. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope that this has been able to give you a bit of information as to the MetaTrader platform, ARYA itself, some of the functionality, and any questions that you have, just get in touch with support@aryatrading.com, and we will be more than happy to help continue you and your journey in the trading world. Welcome to the community, and we'll speak to you soon.